Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Paradigm Shift and Educational Comedy. I'm Dave Kelso. I'm here today to plagiarize and steal my own content by default of live streaming a video. Oh, you'll understand those sarcastic jokes as we proceed forward. A big, lovely shout out and physical hand wave to TheMarkyMark. A guy who is afraid of having a real-time, face-to-face, voice-to-voice civil conversation because he's a coward and likes to hide behind his keyboard. Yep, someone like that, they know that they would lose any sort of actual real-time discussion of fact. People like that are not able to handle it. Now, I know what a lot of you might be about to say. There's an old quote that comes to mind, right? I'm going to paraphrase it, but it's a pretty popular quote. Small minds talk about people, mediocre minds talk about events, but great minds talk about ideas. Well, guess what? Unfortunately, this situation, seeing as nothing is absolutely always just one thing or another, this is a person catalyzing an event that threatens a very great idea. That's my opinion there. And so, therefore, all three need to be talked about. The great idea is the Steemit blockchain. The event is the situation that myself and many others have and will continue to find themselves suddenly thrust into. And of course, the catalyst, the person for the event, TheMarkyMark. We don't actually know his real name. He's been on at least a few live streams. He will go on a live stream, not face but voice. He'll go on a live stream when he knows he's talking to somebody who completely agrees with everything he says. Basically, he's the David Hogg of the Steemit blockchain. Of course, the main difference being is, unfortunately, TheMarkyMark does actually have real actual power and a willingness and capability to wield it, and he wields it often. Whereas David Hogg is just a puppet mouthpiece with no real actual power of his own. And this again being the issue, TheMarkyMark is in a situation where, from my perspective, in my opinion, and the opinions of many others, and in my opinion, this is fact more than opinion, he is utilizing an extreme abuse of power. I also feel that this situation is a microcosm to the macrocosm of the way the world is run. Because look at it this way, whether you're talking about Wall Street or you're talking about politics in any particular country, or regardless of what you're talking about, who are the leaders that we get behind and go rah rah rah, rah rah Hillary, rah rah Trump, rah rah this, rah rah that. Well, these people who quite openly abuse power, all of them, and they have real power that we the people give them. So whether you're talking about TheMarkyMark, or you're talking about a Wall Street economic terrorist, or you're talking about the organized crime terrorists who run every government worldwide because Wall Street runs them, regardless, they are not, in my opinion, to blame for all of the woes of humanity. I think that's a logical fallacy. They are the epitome of the collective human dysfunction because we insist upon having a parasitic ruling class lorded over us. I hardly think that that is the fault of the parasitic ruling class if we're not only allowing them to do it, but we're demanding it of them. I mean, come on. That's dumb. That is really dumb to blame that parasitic ruling class. Now, each individual member of that ruling class is to blame, or I'd rather say responsible for, anything and everything that they have directly done. And this whole principle is also true of the Steemit blockchain. It's the many versus TheMarkyMark. The way the system is designed is that if there were to be enough unity, then could our collective power overthrow this Morskarian fire magic that the Marky Mark seems to be wielding? Oh, and part of this power wielding is also he is a Python programmer, which I also find incredibly appropriate because this guy's a real snake, in my opinion. Oh, so all right. I do need to do my best to fairly as possible share his point of view, but you can get everybody's point of view directly from their own mouths if you go on https:// steemit.com/ and the little @ sign, and then PSEC documentary. That'll take you to my Steemit profile. Under my Steemit profile, you'll see a nice little bar going across near the top of the screen that reads as blog, comments, replies, and rewards. Under both the comments and replies section, you will find no shortage of other people's comments to me on the situation, my comments to other people on the situation, the MarkyMark's comments and responses to me and other people, and vice versa, and so on. So I would definitely like to encourage people to look at that for themselves and make up their own minds. I don't want anybody blindly believing or disbelieving either party. I want all you people to think critically, to review the data, and to make up your own minds. And I'm going to be talking about some of that data. I mean, I was half tempted to go into a full-blown open screen share and, go through everything tit for tat, line by line, but that would make too long of a video. I'm just going to talk about, the basic important things about what's going on with it. And if you want to explore, the tit for tat, play-by-plays, he said, she said, whatever, then you can feel free and you can go in and explore that on your own time. But I'm not going to waste everybody's time with that. I'm just going to sum up the situation as best I can. I'm a long-winded bastard as it is, so that's going to be challenging enough for me to begin with. So I'm not going to go tit for tat. Okay. Here is the MarkyMark's perspective as best as I'm able to relay it. I'm going to try to be as fair as possible in relaying his perspective. His perspective is this. With the power that he wields, however it is he got it, I don't know, he feels that Steemit has a problem. He feels that, oh my God, there are spammers on Steemit. There are scammers and fraudmeisters on Steemit. There are thieves on Steemit. There are plagiarizers on Steemit. Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. And something must be done. Take the guns. Oh, sorry, David Hogg. No. Something must be done. And it is up to me to be the glorious white knight and fight this evil with my flaming python digital sword. Unfortunately, the reality of the situation is because, not simply in my opinion, I would dare say that basic textbook psychology backs me up here. The MarkyMark, whoever he may be, is a psychopath. That's not slander. That's not a character attack. That's an observation. My observation and many other people's observation of the way he conducts himself and the way he acts. To quote someone else who made a comment on there, Run a Banana, I do believe is his name. I don't feel like going back and looking right now. But he said, if you respond with logic, he responds with emotion. If you respond with emotion, then he responds with logic. In other words, it's the distraction game. It's one thing psychopaths do, because psychopaths and sociopaths and narcissists have no real footing to stand on, no ground that is based in reality. They have to convolute everything and keep the dance floor shaken up as it is. So one of the big responses that the Marky Mark likes to come back with, he likes to say, but should people who commit plagiarism get away with it? Should people who spam get away with it? Should people who commit fraud and all this and theft get away with it? Well, here's the thing. He responds to that based on his own definitions of what those things are in any given moment, and his own definitions is whatever he feels like. I mean, this guy, if he just doesn't like your stupid face, bam. So now, for those who aren't familiar with the situation, what then is this magical power that he seems to be wielding? Obviously, those of us on Steemit who have encountered him already know what magical power this is he seems to be wielding. But for the rest of you on the outside looking in, going, what in the hell is Dave talking about? What magical power? I don't understand. Okay, it's digital. Guy's a Python programmer. That's a programming language. What the hell is this magical power he's talking about? Well, what he is able to do is he is able to manipulate the Steemit driving engine itself. And in a nutshell, what this does is there's a bot called bad content. So remember when I said you can go to steemit.com /@PSEC documentary to get to the conversation threads? Well, if you replace PSEC documentary with bad content, all one word, that is the bot account for the bot that he basically has going around harassing anybody and everybody that isn't in his little in club. It's a very high schoolish sort of thing. If you directly challenge him in any way, shape, or form, I promise you, you will end up on that bot. It has nothing to do with plagiarism or theft or spamming or whatever. If he doesn't like your stupid face, you will end up on that bot. I promise. So anyway, what happens is when anybody views your content, let's say you make a post. So when anybody goes to that post, the first thing you'll see, you won't see the post. You won't see the post. What you will see is warning, this might be a spam or a scam or this or that or da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then there's an option to, click to read the full content. So even though it's not absolute censorship, it's a form of psychological tactic censorship. So if someone doesn't really know that much about the online world and they don't know that not every warning they see is real and that a lot of these warnings are fake, it's kind of like how a lot of people will fall for an old tactic, like, for example, speaking of scams and all that, a pop-up might come up that says, warning, your computer is infected with a virus. Click here to fix. And it's actually a pop-up ad. Or someone might get an email dropped in that says, oh, your PayPal account has been compromised, or we need to verify some data. Click here to log in. And they're not paying real attention to the URL. They've just got the interface, done up to look like it's PayPal. And, they put in their username and their password and all of this stuff. And now the scammers have access to their PayPal account or bank account or whatever account it happens to be. So, there's a lot of people who would fall for those sorts of things, because let's face it, nobody was born knowing how to use the internet, right? Everybody begins at the beginning. So similarly, there are people who, if they see a warning, oh my God, this page might be dangerous. You danger, Will Robinson, keep back. Unfortunately, a lot of newbies will see something like that and they'll be like, whoa, and they'll back off of it. And the Marky Mark knows that. He damn well knows it. So anyway, beyond that of harassment and potential destruction of the blockchain itself, and at first when I heard about this incident before I personally was targeted, I would hear about it from people who were not on Steemit. Oh, I mean, the Marky Mark doesn't believe me when I say this, but okay. He could disbelieve in gravity all he wants, and I welcome him to take his belief straight off a cliff, literally, for that metaphor. But anyway, people have told me, hey, this is what's going on. And I thought they were exaggerating. I'm thinking, okay, this is a new paradigm for social media, because what they're doing is they've based a cryptocurrency blockchain on activity within a social network. That the social network itself is the economy, the value factor, um, upon which the cryptocurrency is backed. Because cryptocurrency has to be backed on something, just like any other currency has to be backed on something. Just like even our fiat currency, Federal Reserve currency, that fake funny money, for those of you who understand Federal Reserve banking even just a little bit, even that has to be based on something. It's based on what's called the petrodollar, and the petrodollar is based on war, which is why, hey, look around, right? What's this planet like to do for most of the 20th century and all of the 21st? Think about it. It's, it's not that hard to put together. So anyway, currencies have to be backed by something real, something tangible, because if they're not, they implode. They're hostile abide by. They have to be backed up by something. And so when it comes to cryptocurrencies, they are backed up by the driving digital systems that make those currencies a reality. And in this case, the Steem currency is backed up by the Steemit social network. Now, to the best of my understanding, and I'm not a cryptocurrency expert, but to the best of my understanding, if enough people were to stop using the cryptocurrency, then the cryptocurrency would implode. That's how it works with digital. And ironically, real world currency works exactly the opposite. The way real world fiat currency works, it's made as debt, at a debt, out of thin air, out of nothing. That's literally how the Federal Reserve makes it. Most money these days isn't even physical. It's just numbers on a computer. So welcome to cryptocurrency before cryptocurrency, right? So basically, it's created as debt at debt. So that means the more money that is created, that's what builds inflation. That's actually where inflation comes from. The more money that is in circulation, inflation gets larger. And if there was too much money in circulation, you would go into hyperinflation. And once hyperinflation peaks, pop, that currency implodes. And unfortunately, most of the rest of the world's everything is backed by the petrodollar, which is why a lot of countries in the world want to get off of the petrodollar. And a big part of why, we're at war all over the place is to try to keep these countries on the petrodollar, because the global economy is currently based on the petrodollar. That's what is propping it. And the petrodollar is, of course, driven by the social activity we call war. So there you go. So with a cryptocurrency and with the Steemit cryptocurrency, particularly, the social network itself is the driving force. So the more people who use Steemit, quite opposite to fiat regular currency, the more people who use Steemit, the more Steem dollars are in circulation, the more powerful the Steemit currency becomes. That's the way it works with cryptocurrency. So if you've got people like TheMarkyMark, and primarily, as far as I could see, just TheMarkyMark, he's spearheading it, and any people that back him, which are also a lot of the, he's a power player on there, like I said earlier, and there are other power players that back him, understandably so, right? Birds of a feather, all that. But anyway, he has this bot. He seems to be spearheading it. He's the one directly wielding it. And if this is chasing people off so that they don't join Steemit in the first place, that is not helping the Steemit blockchain grow. And if the people who are currently on Steemit are chased off and they decide to say, fucking amount, that also does not help the blockchain grow. And once the blockchain gets small enough, it doesn't have enough momentum to keep going. So pop. And that's to the best of my understanding of cryptocurrency. And again, I'm not an expert, but let's look at things like Bitcoin and all that. Why does Bitcoin keep becoming worth more and more and more and more? And even though Bitcoin is far from stable at the moment, it doesn't really have enough people using it to stabilize it. Therefore, why it's always wildly fluctuating, and there's a lot of people that are afraid to get into it because of the wild fluctuations. But if enough people were locked into the Steemit blockchain, or excuse me, into the Bitcoin blockchain, it would stabilize. And it's only wobbly because it doesn't have enough people, it doesn't have enough stabilization yet. But as more people continue to use Bitcoin, the value of Bitcoin continues to go up, 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 up. Now, how high does the value of Bitcoin need to get before the Bitcoin blockchain fully stabilizes? I don't know. I'm not a freaking cryptocurrency expert, just like I'm not a legal expert. I'm not a lawyer. I don't work for the FBI or the NSA or the CIA or whatever. I'm not a cop. I'm not any of those things. So I don't claim expertise on these things. Now here's the other part of it too. TheMarkyMark owns a lot of bots, okay? And a bot is basically just an auxiliary account. And because usage of the system is what mines the Steemit cryptocurrency, as it were, is what allows you to earn the rewards, as it were, your activity, your share of it. He's got all of these bots, these different bots that do different functions that he's earning on. So basically, whenever the bad content bot is harassing people and slamming people, he's earning on that. And that can be proven, that can be checked. That is public record. You can go and check it. I've checked it. He will claim that he is actually taking some sort of a loss in running this bot. Yeah, I don't believe him. So far, all he does is make accusations at everybody else. And when other people say, no, show your proof, he won't show his proof. Well, he'll try to show what he thinks constitutes his proof, and I'm going to be getting into that. It's pretty fucking funny. But it's what I refer to as non-proof. He shows basically nothing. So in that way, he refuses to answer questions. Oh, and if he doesn't show you pseudo-proof on something, he'll just respond to you with like a little animated meme or something mocking, or he'll just say something crass towards you, and he'll basically slander you and insult you, and he will not answer any of your questions, yet he demands answers to his questions. And when you answer his questions, he just laughs it off anyway, and he keeps asking them as if he wants to know. He doesn't really want to know. And one of the proofs in the pudding that he doesn't even really want to know is because the last time he went on a little tirade of asking me the same old worn out questions that keep getting answered by everybody ad nauseum, and I responded saying that I've already answered these many times, and he's like, probably have, and I tried to read your 100 comments, but they hurt my head. That is exaggerative sarcasm speak for, I don't give a fuck about your answers. I can't be bothered with your answers because I already know that my questions are bullshit anyway. So why bother with your answers? That's the perspective of TheMarkyMark. I mean, he's basically looking down at anybody who doesn't kiss his ass as an enemy of the Steemit system. Well, isn't that how all bullies operate? I mean, whether you're talking about high school bullies, or you're talking about the organized crime bullies that literally run the planet. Let's try to look at their psychology through the Game of Thrones lens, as it were. They have certain belief systems. They believe that compassion and empathy not only don't exist, but they're weak. They believe that kindness is weak. They believe that any of these things are naive and they're shows of weakness, and that anybody that might believe in the strength of these things is a fool, and that this is very dangerous thinking. So everything that most normal human beings, or at the very least most average human beings, really normal means nothing but something is common. And just because something is common doesn't mean it should be normalized. Psychopathy is common. It shouldn't be normalized, but it is. Anyway, so from their lens, from their perspective lens, everything that most of the rest of us perceive as being a good, virtuous thing, sociopaths and psychopaths view as not only stupid and naive, but dangerously so. They feel that when enough people believe in stupid, naive things, that they become a threat to the continuity of their lifestyle. And if and when any of these people delude themselves with enough of their own smug sense of pseudo-altruism, they also begin to feel that humanity is a threat to itself and cannot be allowed to continue to be. That's what justifies things like genocide, for example, on the level of the elitist organized crime games that run the world, run the military-industrial complex. It's how they justify genocide and things like that. They're not thinking of it as, wow, we're trashing the planet, we're trashing humanity, we are the very cancer that we think we're fighting. No, they don't see it that way. They're thinking, well, we need to keep those human populations down as much as possible, because damn it, if that gets out of control, whoo, we all in trouble. And, they talk about fixing the earth and cleaning the earth. Well, they don't mind making shit tons of money, dumping untold amounts of toxic chemicals into the oceans of the world. This is documented. This is proven. This is gotten on video and everything else. This isn't conspiracy theory. It's unfortunate that so many people think that even the existence of organized crime is conspiracy theory. Oh, no one would dump toxins in the ocean. That's a conspiracy theory. No one would pollute the air. That's a conspiracy. Yeah, okay. Whatever, people. Whatever. You keep thinking that. But anyway. So, one thing that he likes to do, that the TheMarkyMark likes to do, as his claim that someone has stolen content. Someone is a thief. They're taking content that isn't theirs and they're putting it up and making money on that content. Oh, terrible them. What he'll do, and he'll provide screenshots as evidence, he will take someone's own original content and claim that they stole it from somebody else. That is as ridiculous as a cop busting down your door, arresting you and saying, all this house and this stuff in it, you stole that. You're under arrest for grand theft everything. And the person being arrested saying, wait a minute, I own this house. My name's on the title. I own this stuff. I bought all this stuff. My bank records can prove it. I have receipts, this and that. And the cop says, no, we don't care about none of that. You're getting 15 to life, buddy. This is a lot of stuff you stole, but I didn't steal it. Yes, you did. Shut up. Context doesn't matter. It is what I say it is. You shut up. It's that stupid. That was his evidence that he showed me. He gave me 2 screenshots. In one screenshot, I had posted a piece of my own content from DeviantArt. And he screenshotted that. My own original content. My own words. Something I wrote from my brain to the page. My own literary work. And he was claiming that I stole that from somebody else. How interesting. And then, the most funny thing, He's got this section of screenshots where I take PSEC episodes. This video you're watching right now is PSEC episode. Where I take PSEC episodes and I syndicate it off to places, you know, like BitChute and YouTube and all these other different areas of social media that I'm on. And before Marky de Fuhrer came to power and destroyed the Steemit Weimar Constitutional Republic and has risen in his Nazi Reich, sich Heil der Führer zum TheMarkyMark. Before all that happened, I was thinking, okay, well, one awesome way that I could think of to bring awareness to the Steemit platform, people on the outside, you know, looking in like, oh, what's this? Is, as anybody could see, if they go to any of my other videos and stuff, as anybody can see, I'm basically building a content description field. Like, you know, you've got the PSEC episode and then you've got the description field, right? So it's got listed, you know, all the different links to, you know, where the content is mirrored, you know, YouTube, this, that, da-di-da-di-da. So I was thinking, wait a minute, let's put Steemit right dead center of that, right? Every link that I could manage to get away with that, that's going to be a Steemit link that then goes to a Steemit post. And then that Steemit post has the content embedded, whether it's YouTube or BitChute or wherever. And I was thinking, when someone outside of Steemit, let's say, for example, let's say someone looks at, you know, a DeviantArt version of the PSEC episode, right? And they look in the details to see, you know, what other platforms I have that episode on. So let's say they're like, oh, I want to check that out on YouTube. So they click to check it out on YouTube, but the first place it takes them just before YouTube is Steemit. So then, with any luck, they'll then ask the question, oh, what's this place? What's Steemit? Maybe I might want to consider making a Steemit account. And then that helps the blockchain grow. But no. People like TheMarkyMark, they don't understand concepts like that. As a matter of fact, people like TheMarkyMark, they consider posting more than 7 or 8 times a day on your own social media profile to be spamming. Oh my God, you're inconveniencing people. You're a spammer. You should be struck down. You terrible criminal. You're doing something naughty. Wait a minute. Hold the fucking train. Posting your own shit to your own social media profile. Spamming, really? Oh, but wait, Dave. TheMarkyMark has spoken. It's not only just about people's own stuff. Yes, Dave, I'm going to tell you that if you post your own stuff too much, it is spamming, and you need to knock it off. But it's worse than that, Dave. It's worse than that. He's dead, Jim. It's worse than that. He's dead, Jim. It's worse than that. Yes, it's worse than that. You know how much worse than that it is? People are posting memes. That is theft of the highest order. Oh my God, plagiarism and theft. And on top of it, worst of it all, theft on a monetized platform. So they're not only stealing someone else's content, they're monetizing it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a sec. Here's my big fucking question. How so? Let's look at all other platforms that memes are posted on, right? Name one that isn't a monetized platform. The world runs on money. Just because those platforms aren't sharing that money with the rest of us doesn't mean they're not a monetized platform. Because these people are posting memes, are posting links to other people's content. Literally because other people's content are being shared and put on these other social media services. Literally because of that, those services are making money. They're getting monetary gains as a result of that. So what TheMarkyMark is actually saying is that if you're a big Wall Street industrialist scumfuck or somebody on that caliber, that plagiarism and theft is perfectly fine. Oh, that's great. Do it all you want. You're big time. You can do that. We bow to you. We worship you. You can do that. No problem. But if you're a peon just expressing an opinion, shit poster, meme stealer, off to the gulag with you, criminal. And honestly, if the quote-unquote original copyright holders were so upset by people posting memes anyway, there is this little thing called a DMCA takedown notice, to where if someone like TheMarkyMark, who, by the way, loves to post memes and especially animated ones himself, and who loves to do little video game live streams with him and his son and, you know, other stuff like that, to where he is streaming at least a rate of 15 frames per second, I'm sure, which each frame is an image, right? Streaming somebody else's content that he didn't create, is not his original content, does not belong to him. But because he's a big power player, you see, he can violate his own rules. He's got impunity. He is above his own law. Simple as that. He's above his own law. Which brings me to the next question. What gives him the right to enforce his own law anyway? Now, other than the fact that he is making a profit by stopping other people from benefiting from the Steemit system, which in most other places, this would be referred to as insider trading, which is considered a felony, by the way. So not only, in my opinion, not that I'm a legal expert, is it tantamount to that, but I want to go into the Steemit FAQ right quick and point out something very important. As we know, most social networks have, you know, a community guidelines section, if you want to call it that, right? Don't post this type of thing. Don't post that type of thing. Certain things aren't considered hate speech, blah, yada, yada, yada. Under the Steemit FAQ, is there an etiquette guide for Steemit? There are no official rules for participating on Steemit.com. Oh, wait a minute. Let's read that again. There are no official rules. No official rules for participating on Steemit.com. But one of the users, the Crypto Fiend, has created an etiquette guide for the community. While it is not required, going to read that again, not required, going to read that again, not required, going to read that again, not required to follow these suggestions, going to read that again, 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 in the guide. They are standards that many users in the community choose, going to read that again, choose to read that again, choose, going to read that again, choose, going to read that again, to follow. See, now this complete and total freedom, or the illusion of freedom anyway, apparently, that the FAQ seems to put forth is in direct contradiction to the rule of TheMarkyMark and his little Reich. Because what TheMarkyMark is saying is that there is a set of unlisted rules. So new users coming in, they look at the FAQ, oh, total freedom, no censorship, I can post what I want, cool. Then bam! Here comes TheMarkyMark with administrative level access on Steemit to do what he's doing. What are people going to think? Well, this is a Ponzi scheme. This is a scam. This is some sort of fraud. Because according to the rules of business, if you run a business, and believe me, Steemit.com is a business. It has a CEO and a co-founder. It's a registered business. When you're a business and you say that you're offering something in one way, but then you are not delivering on it, and worse yet, you're doing it in a total other way, that is fraud. That is fraud. By proxy of the founder and co-founder, the CEO and co-founder, of doing nothing about the situation with TheMarkyMark, they are committing fraud by regular business law, to the best of my ability to understand that law. Again, I'm not a legal professional. I'm not a lawyer, but I can also look at a blue sky and call it blue without needing to be a specialist or in one particular field or another. A 6-year-old can look at a blue sky and say, hey, look, that blue sky looks blue to me. So that's all I'm doing. So yeah, buyer beware, right? Customer beware. Just because something says something doesn't mean that there isn't a sneaky being pulled here. So yeah, I may very well end up talking to the BBB, the Attorney General, possibly even the FBI, because I want to know. I want to make inquiries. I don't want to directly accuse the Marky Mark and say, oh yeah, he's definitely committing a crime, definitely committing fraud. I want to go to people who know more than me, and I want to ask them, is this a crime? Is this fraud? I mean, the Marky Mark is an American citizen who lives on the East Coast. Steemit.com is an East Coast company. They're definitely subject to United States business law. Is this a violation of any of those laws? Is this in any way, shape, or form fraud? I'd like to know, wouldn't you? I'd really like to know. I'd like to ask those questions to the people who are in those fields, who are the authorities, who are the experts, the people who do know, be it the lawyers, be it the federal agents, be it people at the BBB, be it the people at the Attorney General's office, whatever. I really want to know. I want to talk to them to ask, is what the Marky Mark doing legal? And is what Steemit.com in allowing the Marky Mark to do this with impunity, to have this administrative level access, to literally hijack the entire blockchain, the entire platform, a cryptocurrency blockchain. Is this legal? And if it is, I'll shut up about it, you know? I mean, there are lots of criminal, shady, nasty things that are technically legal. And hey, remember, everything Hitler did was legal too. So let's look at it that way. So there's plenty of shady stuff that's completely legal. And until enough of humanity unites enough so that we don't have a shady, parasitic ruling class lording it over us, until that happens, then even though what's legal isn't necessarily lawful, I do have to look at things in terms of legality. And if something is legal and there's nothing in place to challenge that legality, then it simply defaults to the fact that it's legal. Just like it simply defaults to the fact that gravity exists. You can love gravity, you can hate gravity, you can feel however you want about gravity, but it exists, whether we like it or not. So I want to know whether all of this is legal. So I'm not posing an accusation, I'm posing an inquiry. And just for fun, I want to go into some things like the definition of plagiarism. What is plagiarism? I'm going to give you an example of plagiarism. Really good example. Plagiarism means taking shit that ain't yours and saying that it's yours. Saying, I made this. It's my creation. It's all mine. No one else helped with it. Me, 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 mine, mine, mine. That's plagiarism. So, for example, let's take quantum physicist Dr. Nassim Haramein. Let's act like this is happening in a parallel universe somewhere. He's a real person, though. I'm using real people as examples, but I'm not trying to slander or character attack them. So I'm saying this fictional scenario is happening in a fictional parallel universe, right? So let's say Dr. Nassim Haramein, awesome guy, awesome quantum physicist. In my view, he's basically solved E equals mc squared. Everybody is looking for a fundamental particle, ignoring the fact that the universe isn't driven on a fundamental particle. It's driven on a fundamental pattern. So that totally fills in the blanks that confuse people about E equals mc squared. It makes it all work out, right? Now, that's on record. He's got that there. Now, let's say hypothetically Dr. Fred Alan Wolf, another awesome quantum physicist, by the way, let's say hypothetically in this parallel universe, he took Dr. Nassim Haramehn's work and research, and he put it into a book called The Fundamental Pattern by Dr. Fred Alan Wolfe, right? And this is happening in this parallel fictional universe, not the real world. So he does that. And in this book, he talks about how he alone, he himself, has come up with this. And this is all his. And, you know, it ends up a best-selling book and he's making all this money on it and whatever. That would be plagiarism. Taking shit that is not yours and saying, not only is it yours, but I created it single-handedly. Nobody else had anything to do with it. That's plagiarism. That is something entirely different than what the TheMarkyMark is talking about. I have seen people get accused of plagiarism for posting their own photos that they took out of their own cameras. Oh, well, now wait a minute. See this shirt I'm wearing? See this artwork on this shirt here? Oh, I didn't design that. I'm just wearing this shirt on a live stream, and therefore this live stream is stealing this shirt. So if I post it on Steemit, oh, it's theft. Yeah, whatever, dude. Logical fallacy land all over the place. Context apparently doesn't matter. Throw Count Dankula in prison. Context is irrelevant, right? Okay. Now, let's look at the idea, well, hell, that's the whole spamming thing. Like, by what authority is he allowed to define that? So wait a minute. Posting your own stuff on your own profile is spamming, really? So there's a gun to people's heads forcing them to watch a person, right? Oh, if you don't like how many times they're posting, you can't unfollow them. Oh, no, no, no. See this gun? If you unfollow them, bam, your brain's all over that wall. So apparently that's the case, right? Making it so that, oh my God, seeing as there's literally a gun to people's heads, and if they unfollow something, a trigger's going to be pulled, and their brains are going to be all over the wall to save their own life. They have to follow somebody who is posting more in a day than they would prefer. So because of this gun to people's heads, this literal gun, that's why posting your own stuff more than 7 to 8 times a day, that's why that's spamming. That's why. And now here's the funny thing too. The convoluted context that he puts to all this and his supreme unchallenged rule and this bot doing what it does, this doesn't encourage people to follow his rules. It encourages people to break them. And I've seen this already. I mean, I've seen people say, well, you know, I'm on this bot anyway. You know, regardless of how many times I post a day or not, my posts are going to come up with this front-end warning thing. No matter how many times I post today or what I post or not, there's going to be a little comment at the bottom of my post going, danger, Will Robinson. So what does it matter then? Let's post memes. Let's post them as many times a day as we want. Let's just do whatever. Because obviously the people that are following me, they already know about the situation. They've seen the comments. So if they're still following me, they know to click there to view the content anyway, and so on and so forth. So it's really not about the rules. It's really not. What this is about, in my opinion, is the TheMarkyMark is a snake. That's my opinion. He's a snake and he's a bully, and he exploits other people, and he prevents them from maximizing their potential on Steemit so that he can beyond maximize his. It's exploitive. It's snaky. And you could tell just by the way this guy talks to people, he has no compassion. He has no empathy. He only cares about himself. And if you listen to any of the live streams that he's been on, he makes it clear as such. He doesn't even remember the specific circumstances to which he found Steemit, but he does remember one thing, that he found it as a result of being in the cryptocurrency trade. And I'm paraphrasing, here's what he said about that trade. Here's the two things that he cares about that are the most important to him: making a lot of money and social popularity. In other words, money and power. The two main things that that the controllers of this world, that we allow to control this world, the two only things that they care about are the two only things that he cares about, to his own admission. I mean, look at the way he treats people. He doesn't care about people, that's for damn sure. And you know, when anybody speaks about him or calls him on his bullshit, he just psychologically projects and cries and says, "That's slander. That's libel. You're bullying me." Wow. The Marky Mark is a cry bully. He thinks he can bully other people, and if they so much as calmly point out that he's doing it, you know, he laughs and he says that they're butthurt. But when anybody puts facts and evidence in front of this guy, much less even just opinions, he goes, "That's bullshit. You're a mean, evil, plagiarizing, thieving, spammer poo-poo head who's hurting my poor widow feelings with your slander." That's how the Marky Mark looks, because that's how the Marky Mark is, and that's how the Marky Mark acts. And maybe, just maybe, me making a video like this is going to do absolutely nothing, because just like you can't storm the gates of Troy, and one person can't go up to Wall Street and expect to get anything but flattened, okay? Even you know, even Donald Trump, if he wanted to directly challenge all of Wall Street, couldn't do it. He's only one person, right? No matter how many millions of dollars he has, he's only one person. And I don't even have $1 million, much less many millions. So I fully understand that all of the posts I've made about this on Steam and all the comments and even this video might be the equivalent of me trying to stop an incoming tsunami by throwing rocks at it. Maybe this guy is just going to end up making God only knows how much money off of his exploits, and then eventually the time will come that the Steemit blockchain implodes. That community will be gone. What could have been a wonderful, free, open platform for freedom of speech, freedom of expression, no censorship, and to have something like that expand and flourish unhindered, unmolested, that maybe the dream of that just has to die. Maybe that's not realistic on a platform like this. Because let's face it, the community, whether you're talking about the Steemit community or, you know, just, you know, people in the global community at large, you know, they were never taught how to cooperate with each other. Divide and conquer is a very useful tactic. It works historically. It works every time. And the biggest factor of divide and conquer is fear, making people think, I'm poor little me. I can't do anything for myself. I'm powerless. And when someone has low self-esteem, they have no confidence. And if you want to unite with other people to get together to actually accomplish something that one person on their own couldn't accomplish, that requires confidence and high self-esteem. And quite frankly, people don't got it. Which is why I'm probably spinning my fucking wheels. And the fact that people would rather hold on to their low self-esteem that they're addicted to, and would rather cry about people like the Marky Mark instead of facing his ass head fucking on like I'm doing, revealing that it is the Marky Mark that is the coward. Because I offered him to be on this live stream with me to represent his point of view. He won't do it. So he's a fucking coward. And If he thinks that's slander or libel, hey, Mark, come at me, bro. Do something about it. You think I'm being slanderous, libelous? You think I'm defaming your character? Fucking do something about it. I'm in Chicago, Illinois. If you even wanted to take me to court over this silly nonsense, you'd have to come here. You'd have to sue me here. You won't even face off with me in the digital world. What the fuck are you gonna do? You know? Nothing. Nothing other than do what you're already doing, raping the Steemit blockchain into the ground. Because really, TheMarkyMark doesn't care about what people say about him. Because TheMarkyMark isn't even a real name. Who knows who this guy really actually is? He certainly isn't TheMarkyMark. I highly doubt his name is even Mark. Nobody knows who this guy really is as a real person. So he's not concerned about what people think of a pseudonym. So that's why, oh my God, you're slandering me. I mean, yeah, he's crying about the fact that people won't bow to him and lick his balls. But is he actually worried about their lack of complicity to him in some way harming his good name? Fuck no. Before Steemit, TheMarkyMark didn't exist. And after Steemit, TheMarkyMark will cease to exist. It's a fucking pseudonym. It's a tool that he's using to exploit a system for his own personal gain. And when Steemit is finally dead, because, I mean, I'm going to be honest, do I think that the Steemit community is going to come together to make it so that they gain power within Steemit and dethrone him? No. Am I going to tell you it's possible? Yes. Does the Steemit system actually allow for doing that? Is it, excuse me, is it designed so that if people came together and did that, that could be done? Of course it could be done. It's more than possible. And he's sitting there laughing his ass off that he realizes it and none of y'all do. And that I can't blame him for. He has every right in the world to laugh at us because we're doing fuck all. He knows that if we united, the way the Steemit system works, we could overpower him easily. He knows it. He knows how easy it would be to do, too. But he's laughing because no one's doing it. He's laughing because he knows as long as he can emotionally trigger people's low self-esteem, that he can sit there and rape this system until it implodes. And he knows that no one's going to do anything about it. And unfortunately, I have to, and don't take me out of context here, I have to agree with TheMarkyMark on that. I don't agree with what he's doing, but I agree with him that nobody's going to do anything about it. Everybody up there's got low self-esteem. Everybody up there is like, wah, 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 poor little me, TheMarkyMark's being such a bully. Nobody wants to come together and cooperate. And it's the same way when you look at, you know, the United States versus the parasitic ruling class. Everybody wants to cry, wah, 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 about Hillary. Wah, 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 about Trump. Wah, 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 about, you know, this, that, and the other. But does anybody want to come together and unite and do anything? No. They want to fight over petty little stupid shit. They want to have Harry Potter versus Twilight arguments on the internet. So you know what? We deserve people like TheMarkyMark. So as I've already said to TheMarkyMark, continue to be ruthless because that is what we deserve, and that I won't disagree with. We deserve to be raped under the coals by people like him because of our gross negligence and refusal to move beyond our low self-esteem, to come together and unite to make this world a better place. Because guess what? If we're not going to do that, we deserve what we get, folks. So I can't fault TheMarkyMark there. He's just an opportunistic reptilian parasite, rightfully, hear my words, rightfully taking advantage of our gross negligence and our refusal to unite and cooperate and do better things. We're putting out the dinner tray for the snakes. Can you really blame the snakes for accepting the invitation? Food for thought. Catch you all later. I've said enough on this bullshit. I've said enough on this situation. And I fully believe that the Steemit blockchain is going to die. And I've already said why. And people like MarkyMark are going to reap the benefits. And that is the way it's going to go. Because it's not the MarkyMark who sucks. It's us who suck. And he is correct on that. Hasta la vista.